We're back, championship bowling, and we've got the championship match between our top seed Ron Nacci, 41 years old, from Baltimore, Maryland, against our second seed Brian Kulas, who just won a very good match against John Crunkleton. After a slow start, Kulas came on through the middle frames, slacked off at the end, but had enough to hold on and win by 13 pins. And now we get our first look at Ron Nacci. It's a supervisor with Baltimore Gas and Electric, looking for his first tour victory, so it's a golden opportunity for him to do so, bowling out of the #1 seed position.
Someone will have a star.
First one for both bowlers.
Ron bowled excellent in the qualifying, 16:05. He shot 1600 one other time when he led the qualifier. Whoop, there he misses the 5-pin. At Greenway East in 1985. Shot 1631.
And picks it up for 10 in the first frame. Now Brian Kulas comes up. Brian was fortunate in the sense that John Crunkleton couldn't put together any marks in that last match. Could not put him two back-to-back, and that led to his downfall.
Made a couple mistakes, and Brian knows he got away with a relatively cheap victory with a 139 game. Trying to capitalize on Ron's first frame mistake where he missed the single and pushed it through the middle.
He had a good effort there.
He shot that a little safer than the 10th frame when he threw the ball through the hole.
He's got a 10 in the first frame. So we're even after one. Brian Kulas will now bowl the second frame. Both players looking for their very first win on the Pro Tour. Brian's been on the tour 11 years. Ron Nacci 10 years.
Boy,
chops through again.
Almost identical. That knocked out the 1, 5, 6, and 9. Once again, he'll be shooting for 10 just to hold his wood. I think he was still thinking of the 10th frame and just sort of overshot that a little. You're so close when you knock the 1 out. He knocked the 4-pin out of the cluster.
Yep. Finishes up with an 8 in that frame for an 18 after 2, and Ron Nacci comes back in. As we mentioned, average 160 for his 10 games of qualifying. Included in that one, in that average of 160 were 200 games. So that's 2 out of the 20-plus games that were scored in over 200. And that's the kind of action that he had to have, obviously, to do that.
I was told that he had thrown something like 40 strikes through the first 8 games. And that's a phenomenal amount of strikes.
Gets that pin flying across. High was 216 in qualifying, which is nothing to sneeze at.
Pretty
that's
good.
For sure. So Ron Nacci trying to correct that statistic that you saw there. It says no tour victory. He's got a double.
Strike. He missed the 5-pin in the first frame. He's actually been perfect with the first ball as far as having it in the pocket. Brian's going to have to go to work.
Kulas started the match, 2 open frames. He's got to pick up a mark here to get back in. We're in the 3rd frame from the Town Hall Lanes, Johnstown, Rhode Island. Got one.
Leaves
and he's waiting.
4 or 7 for a 2-pin spare break. He's had 2 chops through the middle, and now the 4-7, and They're a little tougher to make when you're behind. This early, it's still a must. He has to get started.
Had it with plenty to spare there, and moves into the fourth frame with his first spare under his belt for the match.
Three out of four, Mike. He's pushed through the middle. He's so close. Let's see if he plays the wall here with the 2 and 2. No, he shot the slide. 2, 3, 4 remaining. He'll shoot the 2 on the left side. And all he can do is sit down and see what Ron does with his double.
O'Brien finishes up with a 43 after 4 frames. Ron Nacci working on a double. He's got a triple. And he looks like he knows where the groove is.
He's been in it 4 times. The only thing keeping him from perfect was the 5-pin in the first frame.
Sort of cradles the ball a little bit before delivery.
Turns his hand behind his back. It's not a stroke you'd want someone to practice, but he has it down pat.
And so he moves into the 5th frame. See, a triple right there. Seen some doubles tonight, but into the first triple we've had.
Yeah.
Make it 4 in a row for Ron Nacci. Well, we've been talking about that elusive 200 game, and we don't want to jinx anybody, but Ron Nacci has got one going.
Can't help but talk about it, can we?
Sort of like the no-hitter in baseball. As soon as you talk about it, supposedly jinx somebody. So we'll see what happens as we roll through. Certainly with all the 200 games bowled in yesterday's qualifying, we thought we would see one tonight.
Yeah, we
As of
deserve.
yet, we haven't, but Ron Nacci is going to make it interesting, I'm sure.
We deserve one, don't we, Mike? I don't know if Brian really wants to see this.
Yeah, I don't
see
think
it happen.
so. He is having a very tough time of it.
He's been through the middle 4 out of the 5 frames. So he's a 1/4 inch from having probably the same thing Ron has.
Gave that a good shot and comes up 1 short.
When a bowler does to you what Ron's doing to Brian, it can be a long game. You feel like a pacer, you know.
Brian will move over and bowl in the 6th frame.
Having been in this situation, I can tell you what happens. You want to bowl and get out of the guy's way. And you
don't want to
totally
spoil it for him, yeah.
right. And you totally forget that this could turn around. You know, Brian could throw 4 in a row, and Ron could have trouble.
Well, he's got one. And things are starting to heat up here at the Town Hall Lanes. We're midway through the championship match. Can that man, Brian Kulas, come back? Can Ron Nacci keep the string going? We'll find out when we come back in a moment. Oh, just off to the left.
He may have actually stuck a little bit on his slide that time, and that he's perspiring quite a bit, and it could be from his own perspiration.
Get this 3rd ball here in this frame. Picked them all up, so he's not left any pins.
He's at the 200 pace, 122.
After 6.
Brian sitting there thinking, this has to be my half.
Well, Ron Nacci wants to get back on the stroke again. mention, has not won a DPBA tour as of yet, but certainly well on his way tonight.
He knows how to shoot 200. He did it twice in the qualifying. He has high games of 235, 224, and 226, and he shot those in the same year.
Picks it up. In the open frame of the 6th, comes back with a spare in the 7th. His first of the match.
132 plus through 7 frames for Ron Nacci. Brian Kulas is thinking strike. He needs a few.
He's working on one off the 6th.
Not to be, Mike, not to be. You certainly don't need that type of luck when you're, what, 60, 70 pins down, possibly 60? With only 4 frames left. He did what he had to do. He shot to slide that. He certainly didn't want to hit all of the 8 pin. He doesn't need one now. He needs clusters. 79 through 7. 53 pins behind.
We say the score stacks up in our championship match. Ron Nacci has come out, thrown 4 in a row, and there's Brian Kulas on the ropes.
Brian's down to now where he can only shoot 99, 159. Ron's 132 plus in the 7th. I'd say Ron's probably sitting there seeing stars, would you say?
You would think so.
And a check for $2,000, his part of the $25,000 purse that the bowler shot for this weekend. Nice 10 for Brian. Certainly nothing to be ashamed of. He's losing to quite a game. He's come a long way. This is the remains of 150 bowlers who started the qualifying here.
Well, Ron Nacci comes up in the 8th. Only question is, can he hit that elusive 200 mark, which we've been looking for on championship bowling? Well, that certainly helps the cause right there.
Yeah, as tough as Brian's seat is right now, I know 148 bowlers that would take his place.
You see how Ron sort of cradles that ball underneath.
Really snapping it through. I mean, he's got pins really crunching them.
He's got that confidence, and
he's sort of putting on an exhibition for us right now. The game's really over because the most Brian can shoot's 149, and of course Ron has 152 plus. Give him another one.
Just did miss it.
Come on, Ronnie, you're not even trying. This was the pin he went by in the first frame.
Didn't go by it this time.
Still on track, 172 plus in the 9th. He'll need another mark. He'll need a count, a mark, and a count. So maybe we can get one more strike out of him, Mike.
Well, he's putting on an impressive performance. 5 strikes thus far, and now it's up to Brian Kulas to finish out the match.
Tell you, the viewers who aren't familiar with our duckpin game, 200 is a milestone. I mean, the bowlers shoot them, and as we said, there were 21 of them, but there are a lot of bowlers, even in the 130 average, that just have never shot 200. And to put 4 strikes together is something the National Duckpin Bowling Congress, the sanctioned organization for duckpin bowlers, actually gives a patch for 4 strikes in a row.
So Ron will be wearing a patch next time.
Most of the pro bowlers really, don't apply for that type of patch, but it is available, and it is a feat that is recognized. Brian just trying to get finished. He feels terrible. We'll have to remind him that he's finished 2nd out of the big field.
It was pretty evident after about the 4th or 5th frame that Ron Nacci had a hot one going, and only the best of games by Brian Kulas was going to be able to keep up. So Shouldn't feel badly about that, and he's going to finish up here.
No, and Brian did get away with a rather low game 139 to win his other match.
Yeah, he's going down fighting, that's for sure. Except the spare in the 10th. They'll have one more ball coming up.
Gonna wait for that first ball to come back too, Mike. Habits are hard to break. We get the set and watch Ron shoot at the elusive 200. Okay, Brian, nice tour. Second place and $1,000 with a final game of 115.
Not a bad weekend's work.
No, not at all. He should be pleased with himself.
Now Ron Nacci, 41-year-old out of Baltimore, Maryland, looking for his first tour victory. He's really got it. It's just got to be formalized now. And he's looking for our elusive 200 game.
The only way he can get it is make that, which is next to impossible, and then throw a strike. So I think we're going to have to wait, Mike. Nonetheless, a real nice game. One more will give him 190 and his first Pro Tour victory and a check for $2,000. Congratulations to Ron Nacci. 189 to 115, Mike.
Well, he did it in style, too. Ron Nacci records his first DPBA Pro Tour victory. Gets a nice hand from the crowd. We'll be back to award him his check and talk to him right after this.
Welcome back to Championship Bowling. Ron Nacci, our #1 seed, comes up with his first Pro Tour victory and did it in a big style. And with me is Bob Ferry, proprietor from Town Hall Lanes. And Bob, you have an award to make.
Yes, I get the honor of handing Ron a check for $2,000 on behalf of the Duckpin Pro Tour and Town Hall Lanes. Congratulations, Ron.
And Ron, of course, you get a round-trip airfare on American Airlines to the Caribbean as well, wherever they fly. So have a good trip and congratulations on that first win. And Joe, Ron really gave us a go for our money, didn't he? He almost hit that 200 game that we've been looking for a long, long time and just missed.
Well, the way he was throwing strikes, we thought we were in, Mike, but a 200 game, as we said, is a very elusive thing in the duckpin game.
And once again, we'd like to thank the Ferry family for being such great hosts here at the Town Hall Lanes in Johnston, Rhode Island. For Joe Rainier, for Bob Ferry and Ron Nacci, I'm Mike Zeller. We'll see you again next time right here on Championship Bowling.